afternoon. My name is Tom Witt. I'm a state coordinator for the New York Healthy Workplace Advocates. I will be introducing the individuals who have come here today to speak about the need to pass legislation now to address repeated mistreatment in the workplace. According to a new Zogby poll, over 93% of New Yorkers, that's 8.4 million people, support enactment of a law that would protect all workers from repeated abusive mistreatment at work. The Healthy Workplace Bill addresses repeated abusive mistreatment at work and offers recourse to the targets of workplace bullying. Workplace bullying is defined as repeated verbal abuse, psychological abuse, work interference, and work sabotage. At the present time, unless abusive mistreatment at work can be attributed to membership in a protected class, for instance, such as a civil rights violation, age discrimination, sexual harassment, or other gender-based mistreatment, prolonged abusive behavior at work is perfectly legal. Status-blind harassment is 4 times more prevalent than protected class harassment, and there is no protection for mistreated workers who fall into this much larger category. Bullying at work is health-harming, drives up the cost of health care and insurance, and causes dysfunction in the workplace that drives up the cost of doing business. Workplace bullying unjustifiably destroys careers along with the well-being of individuals and their families. The bill, the Healthy Workplace Bill, currently has 19 Senate sponsors, 86 Assembly sponsors, and over 20 unions and professional organizations have issued a memorandum of support for the bill, including 1199 SEIU, United Healthcare Workers East, DC 37, Mental Health Association of New York, NYHWA, New York State AFL-CIO, NYHWA, PSC CUNY, and PEF. The latest just announced endorsement of the Healthy Workplace Bill comes from the Newspaper Guild of Albany. We are at the same point now that we were at just over 2 decades ago, right before sexual harassment law was passed. Only this time we are discussing another equally wrongful abusive behavior called workplace bullying. It is the elephant in the room and it needs to be addressed. Workplace bullying mimics the behaviors associated with domestic violence, and this form of violence can no longer be passively tolerated by society. The Healthy Workplace Bill should be brought to a floor vote now. New York, what are we waiting for? The time to pass this bill has come, and it is now. Okay, I'm going to introduce speakers that have come here, and I'm going to begin with Assemblyman Steve Englebright.
Thank you very much. It is time, indeed, past time, for this measure to become law. The new Zogby poll clearly demonstrates that it is supported by an overwhelming majority of working men and women and the general population of the state. It is 93% supported, and you've already heard Tom describe the broad support of members of the legislature. So it's time to bring this to the floor for a vote, put it on the governor's desk, and protect people who presently are suffering from workplace incidents in a repetitive and ongoing way that is destroying their health, destroying their families, their well-being, and ultimately costing the public tens of millions of dollars of lost productivity. This makes sense. It's time for us to go forward. I thank all of those advocates who are here pushing for the bill, and I look forward to seeing you at the bill signing ceremony sometime very soon. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Assemblyman. Our next speaker is Randy Goldberg, President of CSEA Local 658.
Hi. My name is Randy Goldberg, and I am not here representing the organization of CSEA. Yet the reason I am standing before you is because of the employees at the New York State Teachers Retirement System have elected me as their CSEA local union president. The consensus have entrusted me with the task of elevating our work environment from one of toxicity to a healthy, sustainable environment. As one coworker summarized it, to stop the oppressive, suffocating, and mean-spirited environment we work in. We have only one union at NYHWA. Therefore, I represent employees who are proud cleaners, employees who energetically and professionally represent the system while meeting with public school teachers and administrators, employees who travel the world while responsibly investigating sound investment opportunities for the taxpayers of New York, employees whose daily routine safeguard the public interest of the retirement system through audits and by following established financial ethics policy. I represent employees who troubleshoot operating systems, employees who operate office machinery all day, as well as employees who beautifully maintain our building. Our salaries range from entry-level laborer positions to professional salaries commensurate to the responsibility. Our employees' salaries and job duties are as diverse as our ethnic backgrounds. Yet the tragic thing we have in common is a work environment that's about to implode because of the intimidating behavior of a few. Before the Healthy Workplace Bill was brought to our attention, our local commissioned Fact Finders, Inc., a public opinion research firm located in the area, to survey our membership in an effort to gauge the temperature of the building. Over half our membership completed the survey that was over 100 questions in length and at about an average of 40 minutes long. They obviously needed to be heard. Our research is just now complete, and the results support the assertion that at the retirement system, we are currently working in an unhealthy environment where a variety of tactics of intimidation are freely used to bully employees. For example, over half the employees surveyed have been witness to or been the victim of hollering, screaming, or abusive language sometime during the last 12 months. Over half of these employees attest to witnessing or being the victim of the intimidation 3 or more times in the last 12 months. Employees also attest to having assignments rotated without explanation as yet another tactic of retaliation and intimidation. As a union representative, on an almost weekly basis, I have to handle a constant stream of humiliated and distraught employees who are pushed to the point of physical illness. When handling the personnel complaints of the employees, I find the human resources staff and the union are often unable to mitigate the problems that arise from the intimidator in the office. Discrimination is covered, harassment is defined, but bullying is yet to be defined and therefore exists in the shadows. The statistics from the Workplace Bullying Institute's Zogby National Research and the research from the smaller yet targeted scope of the Fact Finders research mirror each other and are staggering. My colleagues at the retirement system are respectfully asking that you please pass this bill and bring clarity, authority, and finality to the issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Okay, our next speaker is John Richter, Director of Public Policy of the Mental Health Association in New York State.
Thank you, Tom. As Tom said, I'm the Director of the Public Policy at the Mental Health Association New York State, MHANYS, as we're called. We exist to represent the interests of our mental health providers, and we have 30 affiliates throughout New York State who provide community-based mental health services to New Yorkers. But we also exist to advocate on behalf of the mental health needs and wellness of all New Yorkers, and to advocate for sound mental health policy in the state. MHANYS supports the Healthy Workplace Bill because New Yorkers have a right to a healthy and safe work environment free from abuse of any kind. Our support is rooted in the belief that healthy workplaces are integral to healthy life, and this, of course, includes our physical as well as mental health. Work environments with patterns of abusive behavior toward or among employees are not mentally hygienic places to spend 20 or 40 hours a week. So there are many protections in place in our workplaces here in New York, and we're fortunate to have them. And many of them are in place to protect us against things like physical hazards that exist in the workplace. But assuring mental health, the mental health of employees is not as clear-cut and tangible as providing an environment free of physical hazards. As mental health advocates, we carry the burden of making the less visible more visible, so as to bring attention and solutions to bear on the problem. The truth is that bullying, which is abuse, greatly impacts a person's mental health and well-being. The longer the exposure to stressors like bullying, the more severe the psychological impact. When these stressors go unabated, it compromises the target's physical and mental health, often in the form of debilitating anxiety, panic attacks, clinical depression, which can be either new to a person or it can exacerbate an existing case of depression, post-traumatic stress disorder from deliberate human-inflicted abuse, and often shame and guilt for having allowed the bully the control. Many of these conditions are the direct result of the abuse sustained in the workplace bullying situation and often occur where they never did previously. What's worse is that too often the perpetrator of the abuse accuses the victim of having a mental illness to justify or excuse the bullying behavior, when they are in fact oftentimes the very cause of those psychological injuries. Work environments where abuse can occur, especially without a means to resolve the abuse, are not mentally hygienic spaces. The relationships we have with people at work and the conditions under which we must work have serious implications for both our physical and mental well-being. By helping to limit the occurrence of abuse in the workplace and providing a viable recourse for victims of abuse, this bill, we believe, takes a stride toward helping to protect everyone's health and mental health while at work. MHANYS came on board a couple of years ago to support this bill. We'll stay on board until it's passed because we think it's vital, and we're happy to be able to provide a mental health perspective because we do believe that much of the injury that occurs as a result of these kind of situations is in a person's, with regard to a person's mental health. So thank you, and we're on board, Michael Way. Tom, thank you.